Pisces, I've just finished doing your reading for you. If you want to book a reading with me, you can do via the link in my bio. It's all donation based, so regardless of what you donate, I will always give you a 30-minute reading. So this week, some of you are thinking about going into business with an individual. You have industry and marriage here, so you could be thinking, do I mix business with pleasure? Some of you could be falling in love with this individual that you work with, but you're reflecting, you're taking your time on this. Okay, there's a little bit of heartache here, but I feel like you are quite clear on what it is you need to do now. Excuse me, the steps that you need to take. So this heartbreak, I feel like some of you need a break. You need to go away. You need to think about things, and you need to forgive and heal yourself. So this is a really good week for you to heal. A break would really, really do you good, because there's obviously something that's ended here, but it's time to wrap things up and kind of just step into this new reality of yours, seeing things clearly now, people, places, situations, how people have affected you, how things have happened in the way that it should have happened, but also essentially it's allowing spirit, your ancestors, your angels to guide you, because you have this, trust your angels, okay, and be honest with yourself and allow spirit to move through you this week, because you also have this beautiful Leo card here that says let spirit move through you, you know, be generous of spirit as well. But let's get into your reading. I'm going to flip the camera over so we can get some advice and direction for you and how to deal with certain energies that may be a little bit difficult this week for you. Hello Pisces, we're going to do your reading for you for the week commencing the 2nd of February. So the first oracle cards I've pulled out for you are all work related. These 3 golden cards are work related. So the first message that Spirit has for you is that there is an ending on the way. You may leave a position or be terminated. However, there's always a new opportunity ahead. You may change careers entirely. We also have saving face. You may need to grin and bear it to maintain respect and keep your job, or you need to smile and make nice to get the position you want. So being a little bit diplomatic this week, are we, Pisces? I have to say your reading does flow very, very nicely. You also have industry there with marriage, so I don't want to start off with all doom and gloom for you, but there is, I feel like you're making a judgment call here about going into partnership with someone that works in the same industry as you. So ending something is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it frees up time for you to maybe start something that you've wanted to start up for a long time, but you've been worried about the stability and the security of finances and leaving something that's consistent and stable. So I wouldn't be too despondent in thinking that this reading is all doom and gloom. There is good to come out of it, okay? We also have frozen. There may be hiring freeze or no new jobs. Being aloof can leave you out in the cold. A warm follow-up gets you in the door. So there is hope. And also being aloof gives you the time, okay? It gives you the time to know that you should be open to infinite possibilities. Now, this is your general energy for just your life in general. But I also feel that because you're so worried in the concept of having a grounded stability, a grounded foundation, something that's consistent and reliable and secure and assured, it's sometimes leaves us in the space of not being able to tap into our joyful and creative nature. So I think this is the perfect opportunity for you to actually do what it is you really want to do, because Spirit wants you to be generous with it. Be generous of spirit. Make room in your life for your spirituality practices, for things that make you feel, again, joyful and free. You know, I think this is the perfect time for you. With every cloud, there is a silver lining, Pisces. We have orca whale. Let's see if I can zoom in rather than bringing it up. There we go. Okay. Dare to do things different. Sing your wild song. Manifest your travel dreams. Attempt the great journey with confidence. Be loyal. Friends and family are now treasures. Be brave. You are more powerful than you know. I like that because, as I was saying, sometimes letting go of the rigid ways and the structural ways, it gives you that time and space for you to actually do what it is that you've wanted to do for such a long time, but you've just always put it on the back burner, always said, oh, you know, not now, later, someday, one day. And it's like, now is the time for you to do it, because there is an opportunity here. And some of you could actually be thinking, do I mix work with pleasure? Because you may have fallen in love with someone that works in the same workplace as you, and you want to take the commitment to a higher level. And it's, I don't know why that just popped into my head, but that's just popped into my head, where it's, do I mix business with pleasure? Is it wise to do that? The only thing I can say to you, Pisces, is the heart wants what the heart wants, and it usually doesn't budge. But if it's not romantic, this is you going into, like I said, a business partnership with someone where you're tying up contracts, you're looking over at who's responsible for what, revenues, will invests in what, will you be a silent partner, will you be active in the business, will you decide that you want to take just a little bit of the role, do you make it a limited company, do you go into more, do you ask for investors to come into your company, make it limited, or do you just do sole trading and have one person have that role, but then you have an agreement that says that you get percentage percentage of the business, so on and so forth. Sorry, this is that business side of me coming out now. But yeah, you also have reflection. So there is time for you to sit and reflect on things. Source doesn't want you to rush this decision. There is an element of you being brave and courageous about this. Again, do you risk something that's stable and secure and that's maybe some of you are going from a PAYE to self-employment, and it's scary because it's a risk, and there's not that certainty. That certainty is not there. So it can be risky and it can be worrying. But I think Spirit is essentially saying here, be generous with us, allow us to kind of take the steering wheel for a little bit. Let us drive you in the direction that you need to be driven. And I know it can be, like, again, I keep saying the word scary and I'm repeating myself, but I know that uncertainty in the times that we're living is not always something that you can afford. You don't have the luxury to do things that way. Or it's maybe you have met someone new and Source is saying to you, you know, it's a risk worth taking. So please do that. So the energies that we have for you this week. There's something that is quite painful this week for you, Pisces, but I think because the Queen of Swords is there, you are seeing clearly now. You have all the information that you need, enough for you to make a decision, enough to really go forward with this. Yeah, you know what it is that needs to be closed off now. Oh, dear. It's a painful situation here. What's this about? Okay, so that's something that you walked away from, something that you emotionally detached from, something that you felt like you weren't content in. Again, it could be a job, it could be a relationship. It could be you asking, maybe that's why that popped into my head, whereas do I mix business with pleasure? So maybe it ended up not so good. Some of you did walk away. You're walking away from security, from stability. You may have done this quite hastily. If it's not, I kind of feel like you may have walked away from something that was your job, because the King of Wands is someone that's very high up. It's usually a lawyer, a mentor, an accountant, someone that has a good profession, someone that's also level-headed, that's quite logical in their thinking, clear-cut, a little bit cold sometimes, but, you know, with the Queen of Swords here as well. Yeah, for some of you, this is definitely a commitment that you just didn't feel appreciated in. You stopped fighting for it, you stopped building it for it, yeah. Okay. I mean, with the King of Swords here and the Queen of Swords, I want to say that this is a counterpart that they just don't see eye to eye. In the original Rider-Waite tarot deck, the Queen has her back to the King, and the King is facing forward, actually. So the King's always kind of looking ahead. He's not even looking towards his Queen. It's very much, they don't see eye to eye. Even if you were to put it in this deck, I feel like the Queen of Pentacles gave a little bit more than the King did, because he just isn't, I don't know, it depends on the person's other placements that they have, but I wouldn't really, I don't know, I have water, I have air, I have fire, but I would rather go with water or fire sign. No disrespect to all the air signs out there. I have air. I mean, I'm a Libra sun, according to Vedic astrology, a Scorpio rising and an Aries moon, so I get it, you know, but I think because I'm so fiery inside and emotional that for me, a King of Swords would just be like, it's just like ready salted packets of crisps, isn't it? And that's me just being hypocritical, because I really enjoy ready salted packs of crisps. I would actually choose that first, and then cheese and onion. Don't really know where I'm going with this. Sorry, I digress. Let's get back to your energies, Pisces. I think maybe a conversation was had that was quite hasty, done in haste, or it was back and forth communication, because the Eight of Wands is there, and I think you just left in the end. You were just like, I can't, you know, I don't want to deal with this. I'm just going to leave because it's not serving me. So I feel like now the situation that we have is, I see clearly. I've done some reflection work. I've looked into things, and I think it's time we close this up. Let's just leave things be. And I wouldn't say you're coming from a cold-hearted place, but you're being factual about things. You're looking at things logically, because this card, she has beautiful roses on there, you know. And yes, the sword does cut quite deep, but she's doing it quite gently in this deck, and she's doing it from a place of, I want to say favour. She's being favourable. So I feel like you're saving not only yourself, but this other individual by cutting it short, or situation, whatever this energy is. It's very much, I'm going to cut this short now, and I'm just going to move away and wrap this up. And Source is saying, yeah, you need to do that as well, Sheriffa. Right, so I'm going to leave that. But one thing I did want to say as well, you're clear, you're very clear that this needs to be ended and let go of. It's ending, okay? You're ending something and you're releasing something, and you're moving towards the Three of Wands, which is growth and expansion. You're moving forward with your life. You're not sitting there wondering, pondering, you know, crying. But I think because it did cause you heartbreak, there is an element of healing that needs to happen here. An element where you need to let go of the hurt. You need to let go of the pain. You need to remove these swords out from your heart. And the only way to do that is through forgiveness. That may not be what you want to hear, Pisces, but it's forgiveness for you. It's not forgiveness for the other person, because if we're holding on to grudges and we're holding on to resentment and we're holding on to pain, it doesn't allow us to completely heal and feel free in our next adventure, which is going to be really important for you, because you've got the Three of Wands here. Okay, so you need to be courageous here. Remember, with that Oracle card, it's going to take courage for you to remove these swords. It really, you are, that Spirit's asking you to be brave here, okay? If this is a job situation that's ended, it's finished, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because you've got the Three of Wands here with the Magician, Pisces. You have 3 major arcanas at the bottom here, which is a huge point of turning in your life. I feel like you're ending a chapter, you're starting a new chapter, ending an old, and you're creating something beautiful here. I wouldn't worry, I wouldn't sit and worry, I wouldn't sit and regret. And also that card that you had, the Oracle card here of the Orca Whale Adventure. Some of you could be deciding, do you know what, I just need to leave all this behind for a little bit and take a break, which is absolutely fine, because we have another boat here in the Courage card, which is turbulent waters. I can't say the word, I'm not going to even try and make a fool of myself. It's just turbulent waters that are underneath you right now. So taking a break sometimes is the best thing we can do for ourselves as well. Remove ourselves from the situation and just go on a short trip, go for a walk, go on a plane, whatever, however way you want to do it. You know, remove yourself away from the situation. And in the process of that, when you're away, do some reflection work and see how you can forgive yourself. Maybe try to put yourself in their shoe and ask yourself what you would have done in that situation, with the capability of that individual. Because, you know, I mean, I always refer back to this, and I think it's important, because sometimes we can look at someone and we can say, oh, you've done me wrong, you've broken my heart, you should have known better, I loved you so much, I loved doing this job so much, and now you're releasing me, you're making me redundant, you're letting me go. But putting yourself in another person's shoe and walking a mile in their shoe, it really does help sometimes for us to change perspective on things and think, how would that person have felt? Why did they do what they did? And this is the key thing that I always like to tell people. Albert Einstein once said, you cannot judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. It's not within their capability. And I say that a lot to people, and they look at me like, what? And then I repeat what I just said, and then it kind of sinks in after the third time. A fish was not made to come into land and climb a tree. It doesn't have legs. It cannot breathe on earth. So, you know, that other individual may just not know how to emotionally regulate themselves. They may not know how to logically think about how to secure a relationship. They may not have been taught how to be, their conditions of worth to begin with may not even be secure. So it's not your responsibility to mature someone into emotional regulation. It's just not your you know, send them off to a therapist, to a counsellor, to a professional. Okay, you're not their accountant, you're not their therapist, you're not their mother, you're not their father. You are your own individual, and you need to think about yourself, okay? You cannot pour from an empty cup. That's another saying I really like to say. So yeah, you're clear on what you need to release this week, okay? Closing out the chapter on the heartache as well and starting anew. And for some reason, I'm also getting, from the experience that you've got from past hurts and past pain, you could create something out of it, Pisces. You could be the magician and the wizard this week. But there's definitely an element of expansion here. You're growing, you're moving towards the future, you're not looking back. It's dead, it's done, it's finished. With that Ten of Swords as well. Did I see Ten of Swords? That was Aquarius, I'm sorry, apologies. Yeah, you've decided to walk away, so stick to it, okay? Stick to your decision. Let's get an Archangel message card out for you. For Pisces, please, Source. Thank you. There we go. Be honest with yourself, Pisces, okay? All your feelings, even the difficult ones, have messages for you. Accept your truth, then let Source take it from there. Again, be generous of Spirit. Allow Spirit to guide you this week. Allow Spirit to take control of that vehicle. Let them drive you towards a destination that you've never been before. You may just be fulfilled and happy. And there we go, with the past hurts. Use this as an experience to turn it, alchemize that pain into something that's going to be really beneficial to you in your life. Okay? Also, trust your angels. Let go of your expectations of how your dreams will come true. Trust that heaven has a perfect plan. Now, Pisces, I don't know if that's not a sign for you to loosen the reins a little bit this week. I don't know what is. I'm just not going to speak any further on this. But I hope you take the advice, and I hope it helps in some kind of way. And I hope you have a beautiful week. Thank you.